when we're talking about nothing, I thought we've spoken about literally everything about nothing, but I want to make this fun as well. So what I am going to do is make you bust a few myths. In a previous life, I was a lawyer, so I'm going to put you on the stand there. You can bust a few myths. Some of them will just be fictitious, figments of my imagination, but it'll be nice to see you bust them as well.
Let's try.
The Nothing Glyph interface is more of a gimmick than a game changer.
I think it's a fair comment from some people following the launch of the Phone 1. We have a lot of great ideas in our roadmap, and with the Phone 2 launch, we're going to see a lot of functionality coming out on the Glyph interface. And we're also opening up the SDK and the API to developers, so there will be a lot more fun stuff coming. So I hope our community over here in India can also engage and build great experiences on top of that. But I agree, at the launch of the Phone 1, it wasn't that functional. We had ideas, but we just didn't have enough time to get them out there.
It grows on you. I've been experimenting with the Phone 2, and it genuinely grows on you. And with some of the functionalities, I'm slowly becoming a fan, Carl. So I appreciate that. If Carl Pei was not a tech founder and the creative wizard that you are, what would you be doing?
I wanted to create my own mezcal brand. You know, this Mexican
like tequila.
alcohol, similar to tequila. Because I saw a gap in the market where, first of all, I liked the product, but there was no real premium brand. Like, if you want a great tequila, there's so many brands to choose from. But mezcal is still very unorganized. That was one idea. Another idea was to kind of open a hostel, youth hostel, in somewhere really picturesque, close to a mountain somewhere. Make it really affordable, but really hard to get a reservation because the experience is so good.
I was in Mammoth a couple of weeks ago, mountain town, picturesque, and a mezcal bar. I'm just saying, someone's already gotten that idea, Carl. We got to start working on it very soon. If nothing didn't exist, and you were still on your sort of sojourn or your break in Greece, and having a nice chill time for these 3 years for some reason, what device would you, which ecosystem would you opt for, Apple or Samsung? Or a third one?
Probably Apple.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been an Apple fan for the longest time, and I think especially the early days of Apple, they put so much love into the product. The moment I fell in love with Apple was when I had the first generation iPad. And I don't know if you remember, but you can swipe up and get this menu for settings.
Of course,
And one of the knobs was the volume rocker, and it was still skeuomorphic, so it kind of looked like real metal, right? Like brushed metal. And when you tilted the iPad, the light reflection of the metal knob changed as you tilted the iPad. I was like, whoa, they care about all the details, even that's like a tiny detail like this. So that's what made me fall in love. I think they put a lot of love into their products. I think recently they become a bit lazy because they have a ecosystem lock-in, right? You already use the MacBook, the iPhone, the Apple Watch, the iCloud, the AirDrop, the iMessage, whatnot, and that locks the consumers in, so they don't have to work as hard on the product innovation anymore. So I think that's something that we need to address over time, so that everybody can go back to innovate on the product again.
Okay, this is a social media myth, but I'd love to get your take on it. Whenever someone introduces Carl Pei, there's often, well, a murmur of Steve Jobs. Is Carl Pei inspired by Steve Jobs? Is he one of your role models? And how do you really deal with something, you know, when someone speaks speaks of both of your names in the same breath?
I feel it's quite flattering, but also we're not there yet. Like, we're so small as a company, and we're so unsuccessful compared to where Apple is. So I don't know if it's a good comparison. And I also believe that everybody's different. Like, when you meet, I met a lot of my heroes during my journey, and at the end of the day, what I found out is that everybody's just a normal person. It might be a myth looking at somebody from the lens of the media or from a book or biography, but at the end of the day, we're just normal people, and we shouldn't idolize anybody.